In this video, we're going to talk about integration with Visual Studio Code. The application designer is designed to allow you to be able to quickly create and edit your application. You can edit the code, and it even segments your code into sections so that you can not have to jump through a set of source code. You can also go in here and directly edit and preview various elements. There's also times where you may want to use Visual Studio Code directly. So the first thing that's important is that you're not running the Action App Designer from Visual Studio Code. This is really simply a background application that you have running in Node that does file management features for you from the browser. It's not anything you should have to worry about the source code on unless you're a contributor. So simply open up a terminal window, go to where you have the code stored, and do npm start. You can set up, of course, a script to do this. I have it set up on a hotkey that I can hit that'll just simply open it automatically. The end result should be you have a terminal window with it running in the background, and then here it's accessing that through port 33460 as usual, and there's nothing in Visual Studio Code. What I'm going to show now is a little bit of the integration features, and what I mean by integration is that they simply update the same files. So if I go here to this application, this has a page file, which is the JavaScript code. It also has two HTML pages in the example that we have here. So if I open up the home page, it has the ability for me to update the code right here if I want to. I can also go into Visual Studio Code and update this as well. Similarly, these resources, you can update and preview them right here in the designer in the browser, or you can do it in Visual Studio Code. To easily open it in code, you can go to the application, go to Setup. If you already have a project open in Visual Studio Code, open it and do File, New, Window to create a new blank opened instance, and it'll open it into that. If you don't have anything open, then just simply hit Open VS Code. That will use a URL link that basically opens the system. So whether you're using a Mac or you're using a PC, it should work all the same. So what this did was it opened up the project in Visual Studio Code. At this point, we can modify it directly here. So if I go to the center HTML and go in here and say updated 16 minutes ago, so I'll go here and preview the site. So here it says updated 16 minutes ago. What I'll do here is go into Visual Studio Code, say that's updated 17 minutes ago, and save it. Now when I refresh the page, it goes to 17 minutes. So we updated the code directly in Visual Studio Code. So we can go here to our application and go to our center page and hit reload, and it reloads our page. If we update it here and say updated 18 minutes ago, then we go and see that changed. Now when we go to Visual Studio Code down here, without doing anything, Visual Studio Code is smart enough to know it updated, and you go here, it just says updated 18 minutes ago automatically. So you can see there that it's pretty seamless, that you can create your elements over here in the designer and see them over there and work with them in either location. So to kind of illustrate that a little more, I'll create a new page and go to the Visual Studio Code, and you'll see we have our new page with the related elements right there. So we can create the structure of the application over here and then go in and modify some of the features here. You can even go into the code, and as long as you're working between the lines here, between that and that, you can update this information all the same directly here as well. So that concludes a quick demonstration and some details about running the Action App Designer in a terminal window and using the seamless integration with Visual Studio Code back and forth between the designer and code.